Hi everyone, Stobbart here, and you're about to watch my third LP. Let's play Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars, the Director's Cut. I'm really excited to make this LP because I've been a huge fan of the Broken Sword series ever since I was a kid, and I'm really excited to show you. I've never played the Director's Cut version before, so I'm also really excited to play that too. And yeah, if you haven't played, this game is really cool because it has a lot of fun puzzles, interesting characters, and a really well done story. If you have played before, I really hope you enjoy my LP, and yeah, so let's get started. New game.
Paris, city of love, romance, and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too, but ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death.
So there's the Revolution logo, which is very fitting for this game, with the knights. So there's a gargoyle on top of a cathedral. Some flying buttresses, because gotta love the word buttresses. Yeah, if you didn't know, gargoyles were put on top of cathedrals to scare demons away. A little tidbit I learned in art history in high school. There's the Eiffel Tower. And as you can see, it's fall. And I've never been to Paris, but if I ever go, it would have to be the fall because it just looks so beautiful in this game.
I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty.
Ooh.
Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away.
Oh, that's funny. I love Nico. Ooh,
here I was, the palace of the Media King and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation.
So this is all new. This wasn't in the original.
Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty? You're too kind, madame.
Insults seem to be lost in translation there.
The talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre,
Jeez.
but I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must... Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose.
Oh my goodness. Ming.
Excuse me for a moment, Bigger.
I definitely wouldn't have cats in the house if I had
You
Ming
journalists
vases.
are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
That was no cat.
My God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
Oh, mimes are so creepy. Ah! Oh no, Nico! He will pay to beat my precious Nico.
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Collard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
Of course. Yeah, so... Oh, looks like there's a little hint. Briefcase to open your inventory. Diary. Oh, access the diary, obviously. Question mark for hints. And the spanner. Oh, to save and restore. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that was really interesting. I don't know if I trust Madame Carchon. She wasn't in the original game, so I don't know much about her. But she definitely seemed shifty there. Almost like she knew about the murder was going to happen, because she didn't seem very surprised. But I have no idea. So let's investigate.
Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before, and written about him. The costume killer, at least that's what I'd called him.
Ah, so this guy has been in several costumes and murdering famous people throughout Paris. Okay, let's check his jacket.
Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
What? Okay, I didn't get that one, but okay.
Carchon had been shot.
Ooh, oh, looks scary.
His lifeless eyes stared blankly at nothing.
Hmm.
I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow.
Oh, that's nice.
I had closed his eyes. Rigor mortis hadn't set in yet.
Ooh.
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now.
Alright, to use an inventory item, click on that item and hold the mouse button. When continuing to hold mouse button, drag the item over a hotspot and release when it highlights with a gold outline. Oh, okay. This is a little different from the original.
It was a boat ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. When I was a little girl, Papa used to take me on the Bateau Mouche as a treat.
Oh. Looks like something here.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down.
Alright.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact.
My favorite, in fact. I love that. You never know with point-and-click adventure games, so it's best to search everything just in case you miss something. And it seems like this game is really useful. It has the little glow to help you out, so... That was one of the troubles with the first Broken Sword. There are some puzzles you had to look up online because it's just impossible to figure out if you don't drag your mouse over this one little spot. But anyway.
You had to end it to the Ice Queen. She sure knew her fabrics. A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job. This was the work of the mime. Unless the cat was in on it too.
Well, that could always be. I mean, cats have sharp claws.
I didn't want to cut myself and leave blood on the glass. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep my DNA to myself. Your original 18th century high security window handle.
Huh. Ooh, we can go outside. Oh my
The
goodness.
killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Wait, he put the ladder in his pocket? That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
A bust of Pierre Carchon, humble servant of La France.
Oh wow, so he's so into himself that he had a bust made of himself in gold. Some books. Could it be a clue?
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions. It contained rows of titles I didn't recognize.
Oh. No clues there.
Pierre Carchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room.
Oh my goodness, so I don't know why, but he has two busts of himself in the same room. That's really weird. I'm gonna click on this again just to make sure.
Programming the Z80 by Rodney Zacks. Ah, the romance, the drama, the great classic novels had a lot to learn.
There's the sheep?
It contained
Oh, okay. That seemed like an Easter egg maybe. I don't know.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
Ooh, I like this.
A medieval pageant. Original, no doubt. The tapestry must have cost a fortune. The tapestry must have cost a fortune.
Oh, I thought we could look at it closer, but I guess not. Oh wow, her butt is glowing. Let's check that out. Oh, it's just the table. Okay.
A beautiful cloth had been draped over the table. It was embroidered with an unusual cross.
Huh.
I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
All right, let's the rule of thumb in adventure games is you can just take whatever you want in someone's house.
The cloth was embroidered with an unusual symbol.
Oh.
There was a tiny hole in the tabletop. Part of the inlay had been chipped away. Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole.
It's a nice table. It looks like some sphinxes glued to each other's butts. Let's try the hair clip. Ooh.
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff. A key had been hidden in a secret compartment. A modern key. Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming.
Yeah, I love how she justifies her theft. Okay.
A key. Maybe a safe key.
All right. Ooh, she closes it. That's nice.
Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that.
She really has a grudge against Imelda.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine.
Oh, so I guess Nico really knows her colors.
Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Like ransacking my house.
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Aww. Is she really grieving or is she faking it?
The tube of paint from Imelda's easel. French ultramarine.
I wonder why it's French. Is that different from German ultramarine?
Imelda looked shocked, but still every bit as hostile. Even the telephone was antique. Never trust anyone who owns a phone like that.
Okay.
There was no one I needed to phone. Not until I had solved this case. Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
Ooh, the mime.
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start.
Who's this?
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Pierre Collard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
I am so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything.
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronize me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
So, it looks like we can tell the truth or lie, but, yeah, I guess there's no point in lying. I don't know. Well, let's...
Your husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers already, I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret this.
Alright, so maybe Imelda's not so bad. She's helping Nico out.
With the drawing room key.
And I guess that explains why she was so mean to Nico, because what was I gonna say? Because, you know, she's jealous and her husband never loved her and he would seduce young women, so of course she would be mean. Yeah, I like that. It gives a new perspective of the situation.
A fine Baroque door. It would look great in my apartment.
Oh, and if it's not Baroque, don't fix it.
The door was locked.
Oh yeah, we have the key.
Now we were getting somewhere.
Cool. Alright. Seems to be a chandelier in every room.
Even the light switch looked impressive. I didn't need the lights on. It was light enough already.
Oh. A painting?
The painting showed the Carchons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
I wonder if that was a poet. Maybe I'll look that up later.
The Carchons. Noblesse oblige.
Noblesse oblige.
The painting was attached firmly to the wall.
I like how they have two hunting rifles. She's pointing at the dog.
Aha! There was a small button hidden in the picture frame.
Huh.
There was the very faintest of clicks.
Okay. Something happened? Ah, there we go.
Behind the picture was a safe.
That was kind of obvious. I mean, to have a painting with a button right next to it to open it, I mean, that's not very secure, but whatever.
The safe looked pretty secure.
So Warner Safe Company, Paris, France. Interesting. That one?
The safe was locked.
Isn't that what we need to do? No?
The safe was locked. I needed the key.
Oh. Oh, that's weird. Oh.
There was a strange stone cylinder in the safe.
Ooh.
In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Carchon was past caring.
There she goes, rationalizing, so no morals broken here.
The sofa was antique. For one horrible moment, I had an image of a naked Carchon wriggling around on it with a young journalist. Oh.
I think it's the word wriggling. Okay.
This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. I guess Nico knows a lot of gay guys. Which, I could, never mind.
It was a back door. Locked. Not surprising, really.
Guess not.
It didn't work, but I guess it would have been surprising if it had.
Oh, okay.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision.
Cool, an elephant.
My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made. So Carchon had known my father. They really must have been friends.
Oh.
I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda.
So, the director's cut, yeah, it gives a lot of story about Nico's father, which they never mentioned in the original.
It was the beautiful elephant my father had carved. The in-tray, like everything else in this place, was beautiful. One day I was going to have an in-tray like that, even if I had to sell my apartment to pay for it.
Yeah, because who needs a place to live as long as you have an in-tray?
I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it. It was a sheet of blotting paper in a leather holder. Its cracked surface looked ancient, reminded me of its owner.
I guess like the cracked wrinkles on his face.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we have...
The artifact was like an old printer's block, covered in symbols.
I bet we have to use the paint. Ooh.
I'd spread blue paint over the bottom of the tray. It was ruined. I was a very bad girl, but also quite a clever one.
Oh, you clever bad girl, you.
The paint had been squeezed from the tube.
So, yeah, like a printer's block. Cool.
I rolled the artifact in the paint until it was completely coated. An antique tray. Not a lot I could do with that. There were still some traces of paint in the tray. It would never be the same again.
Okay. I liked how she put that wet painted artifact in her jacket. Like her jacket's gonna get all paint all over it.
The cylinder was covered in the blue paint. I needed to work out what to do before the paint dried.
Oh. Well, they roll it on the paper. Ooh.
Genius. The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say? A secret message had been printed on the blotting paper. It was some kind of coded message. It read, "Sub judice." I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense. I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, sub judice could, in this case, mean literally under the law courts, below the
that's
conciergerie.
neat.
I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ex-journalist, I was definitely going to win it this
Whatever
time.
its name is. Cool. Yeah. What do we get?
Rolling out the painted cylinder had given me a print of a secret message. It read, "Sub judice." Below it was a sequence of letters, S, D, S, S, D, S, S.
Huh. That's interesting. Probably useful for later.
It was the way out. A beautiful, expensive, antique way out, but the way out nevertheless.
A beautiful, expensive, antique way out. We probably should talk to her before we leave.
Did you find anything useful?
This carving, do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend. Something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No. But I think it was important to him. Always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask,
Don't worry. You were never here.
sub judice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there.
Awesome. Cool. So it looks like we solved our first puzzle.
Carchon wasn't the type for messing about on the river. He was up to something down here. Something that got him killed.
Sweet. Well, since we're in a new area, this is probably a good place to stop. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.